Hey guys, Dave here, and today I'm going to show you how I wick an RDA. Hey guys, welcome to SpitBack, and today, as I said, I'm going to show you how I wick an RDA. It's going to be more of a re-wicking process after I've already vaped on it for a little while, but I'll show you kind of what I do to clean out the gunk and put some new cotton in. So we're going to go up close here and I'll show you how it's done. I have my Dead Rabbit RDA, and if we take this apart, you can kind of see it's kind of, well, you can tell there, it's a little gunked up. I've been vaping on this for a good week or so here, and there's some people, they change their stuff a lot more. I don't vape probably as normally as some people do, so that's why mine are probably not as bad. Basically, I like to take it apart, get yourself a good clean rag, get everything wiped out first. You know, if you're vaping on the same juice, it's probably not going to matter as much. I mean, this is just kind of residual, but I like to clean things up a little more. One thing you gotta watch for is just make sure that, you know, you don't get any fuzzies from the rag or anything stuck in there. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything, but it's gonna save you some hassle in the long run. Couple tools I like to use for this process. We got some tweezers of some sort, some needle nose pliers, got a glass of water over here. Shot glass works, I find works pretty good. The first thing you're gonna do is, I guess this cotton's still a little wet, but I don't care. We're just gonna yank the old cotton out of there as best as you can. It might not come out the best, but do what you can there. Some of this I might end up time-lapsing because it takes a little long. Got it cleaned up. Try to get all the little fuzzies out of there that you can. It's hard to see on camera. But you can see it's kind of gotten dark, a little gunked up there. And I am planning on changing juices a little bit from what I have been vaping on, so that's one of the reasons I'm doing this right now. The mod is on. You want to turn it down. If it's locked, unlock it. 45 to 55 is kind of where I'm normally at, so I usually turn it down to probably around like 20. What you're going to do is just kind of burn off all the excess juice off there. And then what I do is I just take the water and see, I kind of put it out. I just keep repeating that process, and what that does is it kind of cleans out anything residual in the coils. You know, as you can see, the coils already, they're looking cleaner than they were. One thing I also do too, I've got my little toolkit that I got online. Came with this little metal brush here. After I dip it in there, I like to take that and brush off any grossness that might be on the outside of the coil anyway. They're looking quite a bit cleaner at this point. And kind of repeat that process. Now, I've seen there's some people that will run this underwater very carefully, things like that, just to clean off the coils. I guess my thought there is I don't trust trust that a whole lot. Where this way, you know, I can't get the mod in the shot glass. So it's pretty much just getting the coils into it and just the top of the RDA deck. This might be different from other decks that you might build on, how this might work, but for the Dead Rabbit, this is, I think, works pretty well, you know, for what it is. Not looking too bad. You know, they're not shiny as they were, obviously, but that's because they've been used. They look a lot better. This is stainless steel, by the way, that I have going here. So pretty much at this point, just kind of want to let it dry out. You know, start fresh, making sure they heat up evenly again. Looking pretty good to me. I can hear it sizzling still though, so I know it's not dry. So yeah, at this point, I usually just kind of let it sit and dry out. And I guess while we're waiting for that to dry out here, dry it off my little mouse pad. I got this bag, Japanese organic cotton. I think they call it like Muji cotton or something like that. But I got this bag of it, and it's these little squares. Since I started building, I think they've worked great. And as you see, this thing, I bought this thing like a year ago, and I've barely made a dent in it. Maybe not a full year ago, but pretty close. Like I said, it's got these little squares, and if you've ever watched little tutorials of these before, they have the outside edge that kind of holds it together is a little, I guess, more sturdy or something, you know, they're a little stiffer. So a lot of people will peel this part front and the back, and I do that too. One thing I do for the coils that I have been building on, they are a 3 diameter and size wise. So what I found works with these squares, as you can see, they're not exactly square, they're kind of more rectangle, they're a little longer this way, but I cut them into thirds, and that seems to work good for me. Because then what you can do too is, if this, you know, works, then you have an extra piece. So when you cut the second piece, then you have a matching pair, and that's works good for a dual coil setup like I have. So you see, they're not perfect by any means, but that's fine. So I will peel off the outside edge. Some people say this is kind of a waste of cotton, but you saw the bag. I have plenty, and that thing was like $6, and it's lasted me forever at this point. So I'm not too concerned of what I'm wasting, things like that. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of, I don't want to stretch it out too much, but what I like to do is I like to kind of tug on the ends like this. And as you can see, it kind of poofs it out a little bit in the middle there. And then basically what I do is I will kind of roll the ends of it. Usually just kind of lick my finger a little bit. Roll the ends of it like that. Get the whole little shoestring in, you know, put it through the coil. But as you see, it's kind of all puffy now in the middle. And that's kind of what I do generally. There's other ways that I have re-wicked in the past and present. I guess it depends on what I'm feeling. One thing I like to mess around with is the Scottish roll. And that's, you know, like completely rolling it. It's kind of more of a pain in the ass task, to be blunt about it. But it holds more juice, I guess, for dripping wise. If you like to stick to one flavor, it doesn't seem to dry out as much or as quick, which is kind of nice. I've kind of messed with like a hybrid of that mixed with what I'm doing here, and I've had good luck with that as well. But this is kind of the general route I'll go. Yeah, it's got two little puff balls there. Turn the mod off so it doesn't accidentally fire on you while you're doing your thing here. This extra one, I'll just throw it back in the bag. I always make sure I seal the bag too. If you have a Ziploc bag for it, or if you have a little container or whatever you use, seal it. You know, make sure you don't get any dirt, bugs, anything like that into the cotton. Alright, so now we'll just stick the end through here. And I'll kind of twist it, get it through. You don't want to make sure it's not, you know, too tough, but not too loose either. So, seems to work pretty good for me. Do the same thing on the other side. Now, some people will say they're really picky about, you know, actually touching the cotton with your fingers. You know, make sure your hands are clean. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I have, you know, tried to pull through with tweezers, things like that. It's just much more of a pain to do it that way. Doing it with your actual fingers just makes things easier, in my opinion. So, cutting wise, generally you want to have the end of the cotton just touching the bottom of the juice well is, from what I understand, the best route to go. And that's how I've always built, I guess. So I'll usually just cut it. Sorry, there was somebody at the door. Just cut the ends off, as you see, kind of measured out. You know, that's pretty close there. So let's kind of get a general idea and chop off the ends. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means. Some people like less cotton, some people like more. This is just what I found works for me. Now, you know, do the whole, if you're not sure, fluffing out the cotton basically gets out any sort of knots, things like that. This is really important if you're doing the roll style stuff, because it gets all sorts of stiff and whatnot. Nice and fluffed out. Do the same to the other side. Actually, I'll just get rid of some of this stuff hanging here. Depending on what you're using, you know, these ceramic tweezers, I kind of have to stab at it a little bit. Some people don't care to fluff the cotton. I mean, it's kind of a personal preference, I guess. It's supposed to kind of make the juice wick up a little better, from what I understand. And I've always just done it. So I guess I haven't tried without, you know, fluffing the cotton or not, but as you can see, they're nice and fluffy now. And you take the ends and fold them in. And I apologize if I'm not getting this on the camera very well. Many YouTubers will say that doing this stuff is a lot easier without a camera in front of your face. And doing this for the first time, I definitely agree. And I'm actually not even looking at the camera to do it. I'm actually looking just off to the side. So that's why I said if it doesn't show on the camera the best, I apologize. Just get the ends there. Just make sure there's no, strands of cotton on the coil, on top of the coil or anything. You want to make sure there's a room for your airflow on the side. But there you go. That looks pretty good to me. I've had some that look better, some that look worse, but looks pretty good in my opinion. So at this point, we're using this SVRF, whatever it is, 0 milligrams, because I don't need nicotine right now. A blend of papaya, mango, and cantaloupe. I usually just put a bunch just right across the top. After you first wick. Turn the mod, still have it, on a lower wattage. 20 is generally for a dual battery one. Just kind of press the trigger a few times. And what that does, it kind of sucks the juice into the coil a little bit. Once you do that a little bit, then you can kind of go on to the sides and just saturate the cotton pretty good. They're nice and good. I got a little bit of cotton on the tip there. That's why you want to make sure you have all the extra crap cut off of it, because otherwise it's going to get stuck. Yeah, there we go. Smells good. Once you get that on there pretty good, with a dead rabbit, there's no notches, so you got to make sure you line up your airflow holes with the coils. As you see there. Put your cap on. I like my airflow control about 3/4 of the way. And crank it up some. I usually, with this dual coil setup, I start at 40. And basically go up from there, depending on your liking. So, but yeah, that is that. That's how I do a re-wick of my coil. All right, we're back up top. I hope that you had learned a little bit. For those that are kind of new to this, there's no right or wrong. This is the way I like to do things. I've kind of learned myself from watching other YouTube videos of how to go about it. And this is the way I find probably the easiest way to go about it. There's other ways of doing it too, but yeah. Anyway, If you have any suggestions on topics or the videos, if you have any questions about what I just did here, be sure to comment below. I do have plans in the near future of doing some coil building videos, some different types there as well. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, help us out, like this video if you like what you saw, and turn on the bell notification so you are notified when we upload a new video. We try to do this, have at least one video uploaded a week at this point. You know, that might change in the future, but that's kind of our goal right now. Thanks for watching. Keep it up.